So welcome to the Ukraine Christian Sports Academy. They give it a nickname, U.C.S.A. And this was the vision that God gave Sergey Lesnick about 3 years ago to build a Christian Sports Academy. There are no Christian sports academies anywhere in Ukraine. This would be the very first one. And God gave Sergey this vision to build it. And as we go through this video, we'll show you some different phases and some different plans for the Sports Academy. But the number one mission for the Sports Academy is to draw in kids and their families for sporting events that would include football. Over here is what we call soccer. There are plans in years to come also to develop an American football program. It's become very popular in Ukraine, and there will be other activities that will be built out in this facility as well, such as there will be a paintball field for paintball competitions. There will also be stables, horse stables, and a riding school in the back of the property. The goal of that is to be able to sustain the academy with income, so that all of the activities that are planned and the projects that are planned and the competitions that are planned, this facility will be able to sustain itself for many years without requiring long-term additional support. So this is really kind of the beginning of the academy. If you can over here and just look at the fence. Okay, this fence is built by hand, every single section, and I'll show you where they build the fence section by section. There are 550 sections, each one built by hand in their own workshop on site. 550 that basically all the way around the edge is more than 1.1 kilometers. It's almost a mile all the way around this property. And the fence has been completed as far as the structure of the fence, and we'll show you later the guys who are painting it, and they are painting it single bar by single bar until the entire thing is done. The goal is to use raw materials. We'll show you later all of the construction workers live on site. They have a kitchen. They live here. They eat here. They even have a little make-do soccer field where they have activities and play sports with each other. And it also provides security for the facility as well. And so again, they take the raw materials rather than going out to a fence company, which would be 10 times the cost. They just buy the raw materials. They build it themselves on site. This entire fence is built here on location and is now completed to secure the facility. So we'll talk a little bit more in a few minutes about some of the next phases. So in the first phase is to build a field. The goal is to actually have the field ready for a project. On July 5th, they'll be having a tournament. And as you can see in the background, this will be a covered field, which is very unusual in Ukraine. But the advantage of this is that they'll be able to use this field for competitions all year round. And even in the wintertime when it's 20 below zero, they'll be able to have games inside this field. The first field is about 22 meters by 60 meters. And they play typically 5-on-5. And this will be covered by a tent material, a very strong tent material, typically warranted for 20 or 30 years. And then inside, along the walls, they'll have like a netting. So as the kids, if they get pushed out of bounds or they're trying to save a ball, they're not running into, typically most of these fields have very hard fences. And a lot of times there are injuries because these kids are fully committed to the game. A lot of times there's injuries. This will be more of a very strong mesh netting that they will kind of catch them and throw them back into the field. So a lot of thought and design going into these fields. First there's a layer of sand underneath, then there's a layer of this rock, and then there will be a layer of very fine rock that will go on top of this. It's almost like a very heavy sand, and then On top of that, they will lay the AstroTurf. And the AstroTurf they purchased for this is the latest technology. And it has a rubberized base underneath it. It's very comfortable to play on. It's very realistic, just like playing on a grass field. And it will last for 20 or 30 years before they would have to returf it. And within the grass, they have small granules of rubber that are in the grass as well. So it's almost like there's a dirt in the grass. It's a very natural feeling playing field. The latest technology has addressed some of the things that we struggled with in America with turf toe injuries. This is the very latest technology that minimizes that. It's really a good quality field that's being built for many years. And so this is the first phase. They're putting up now the top. It takes them probably about a day to put up 3 or 4 of these arches. We expect that maybe even by the end of today or tomorrow, the infrastructure for the tent will be finished. And again, the goal will be by July 5th to have this field ready for play. So I wanted to share a little bit about the builders who are building this facility. So in Ukraine, it can be very challenging to find builders who are very reliable and who will start on time, who will work a full day. You know, the good workers are very sought after. And this entire building team, there's about 30 of them altogether. Most of them are Christians, about at least 20 or more of them are Christians. And they, as I mentioned earlier, they live on site, and just wanted to share some of the humble dwellings that they live in. This is the kitchen and eating and supply area that we're looking at here. And coming over here, this is part of the building team. And the little building here in the back, that is the sleeping quarters. And there are 4 of them who sleep on site. And we'll go over and take a look at that in a minute. But as I mentioned before, they live on site for security reasons. And they're hard at work, you know, by 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And they work until sundown, which right now is almost 10 o'clock at night. So they work the entire day. If you'll follow me, as I mentioned before, every section of the fence has been built by hand, and this is the workshop. You can see the templates in here where they build each and every section. It's all welded here. Each section is built by hand, 550 of them in this fine manufacturing facility. Again, the reason I'm mentioning all of this is because, you know, obviously this vision and this dream is only possible because of partners from around the world, and partners back in the United States who have felt led to donate money for this vision and for this project. And the point I wanted to make is that every dollar is spent very, very wisely. They are 100% stewards of the investments that we make in this project. As I mentioned, everything, all the raw materials are brought in. They build it on site to keep costs to a minimum, to make sure that every dollar goes as far as it possibly can. And this is just the first phase, and we'll talk, if you'll pan around here, this is the kitchen and the dining area. And over here, so, it's okay. And this is the dining room, and we will actually be coming here. They've invited us to come for dinner tonight, and they will be cooking for us and serving us here in the dining room area. Dinner this evening, we'll be sharing with them. We'll sing some worship songs, and they've asked us to share some testimonies with the team. They just came out of the blue and asked us to do this, so we are privileged and honored to spend time with them tonight, and really looking forward to that as well. So we talked a little bit, shared with you a little bit about phase 1 of the project. So phase 2 of the project, which will be starting later this year, late in the summer, for as long as they're able to build, they will be building another field here, and it will be almost twice the size of this field. It will be an outdoor field. Again, it will be fully prepared. It will have AstroTurf. It will have the netting around it for outdoor competition. Obviously, we won't be able to use that during the winter months. And then, and probably, I think the goal is between 3 and 4 years, there will be a full-size professional field, 110 meters by 75 meters, completely AstroTurf, fenced in for very professional competitions. Again, all of this is focused on when these players come and these students and these kids come to this facility, they will hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. That is the number one purpose and reason for the Christian Sports Academy. The parents are very supportive because the kids are not just taught about sports, they're taught about life skills, they're taught about respect. You get a yellow card if you curse, you get a red card if you curse twice, and you're out of the game. So all throughout the activities in which they will participate, they are constantly reminded of what is good and what is right. And they're taught the gospel, and they're taught about the love of Jesus Christ. As we pan over here, this property goes back probably another 250 and 300 meters. And on this property, I don't know if you look over here, you can see one of the horses already. They will have stables, and they will have a riding school. And there's already a tremendous amount of interest from people who really have no land or property for their horses, for boarding their horses, and for teaching their kids how to ride. And in the back, the terrain is a little bit different. It's a little bit hilly in the back, and they're leaving it that way. So as they learn to ride horses, they'll have a flat riding area and a competition area, but they also have a very challenging area where children will learn how to ride a horse under more difficult conditions, up and down, and they'll have jumps and various things for the riding school as well. Over here on the right side, these are some rolls here of the AstroTurf for the first field, but beyond that you see some heavy machinery working back there. That section will be a large paintball competition area, and for most of these kids, they never get a chance to play paintball, so they won't just play soccer here. They'll have opportunities to play other games and participate in other kinds of competitions, and they'll have a big paintball competition field back here, and that will be a huge draw for many of these kids as well. Now if we pan back around over here, sort of towards these cars, one of the additional buildings that will go in as part of Phase 1 going into Phase 2 will be an administration building, which will have classrooms for teaching, and there will also be the administrative offices for the facility. They will also have changing rooms for the teams to come. Many public sports facilities have no changing rooms. The kids just basically go to the woods or have to change in their cars. These will be very nice changing rooms with showers for them to be able to shower and clean up. And then in the next phase, the vision is to have some quarters for players who come from different cities to come in to be able to actually stay here. And so they'll have some buildings with rooms. They will probably share 3 to 4 players per room. It will be comfortable, but they'll be able at some point to put up both teams or even more who come here for competition. And then also the plan is to have a couple of guest buildings so that when missionaries and those of you who may participate in partnering with the facility, who may one day want to come and see what's going on and visit or come over and participate in the projects and serve these kids, and not just in the sports academies. There's many other mission opportunities while you're here in Ukraine to be able to partner with different projects, whether it's English clubs, maybe visiting an orphanage each day and just hanging out with the kids, doing sports with them. There's plenty of things that different teams, both within the Campus Crusade as well as the Pravda ministry, which is what the Sports Academy is under with Sergey and Alina and other partners that are working with them to make this project a reality. There'll be places that we'll be able to stay, very nice places that when you come, you'll have a place to stay. It'll be right near everything. There's always plenty of transportation that's provided for us to participate in these projects. So it is really an amazing vision that God has provided, that they have given their heart and soul to, every last penny that they have made in their personal income and their businesses. They have 100% committed and devoted to this project. And again, every dollar that we're able to raise through partners in the United States and in other countries who are participating in this project are very carefully and wisely spent. There is a committee that every expenditure in every phase The committee must meet, they pray over it, and they must be in agreement before any additional phase is started with the needed funding that is there to support it. And a lot of this is faith funding. Some of these projects have started well in advance of the money coming in, and God has been faithful, and many of you have been faithful to invest your money. And this is most definitely a kingdom investment. This is not for profit, but again, the goal is to have activities such as the stables and the riding school that will help to sustain an income to support for maintenance for the projects and things that happen here, to give people a chance to come here and not only play sports and to have fellowship with one another, but again, the most important thing is they will always be hearing the good news of Jesus Christ. And the whole message of this Christian Academy is for them to understand this is all because of what Jesus has done for us, and will give us an opportunity to share with them. So thanks for your time, and we very much appreciate your partnership. Most of you will have received by now probably a brochure, a nice booklet that talks about the vision and the mission, and please prayerfully consider investing in this kingdom project. My dream, my hope, and my prayer is that this will not just be one facility in Ukraine, but this vision and this project and this concept will expand to other cities within Ukraine as well, because again, it's a first-class facility. Already they have received many inquiries about holding tournaments here from secular organizations, but again, this will be completely focused on faith-based, Christian-based, and is 100% invested in and sponsored by faith-based organizations. So the curriculum, the teaching, everything is under the control of the Sports Academy. There's no outside or governmental investment, and that's just the way we want it, so that we can always be open and sharing about Jesus Christ in all of the activities and events that occur here.